Today, we're going to dive into something pretty fascinating and, surprisingly predictable, the way our dreams change as we get older. I mean, it's a question we can all relate to, right? The bizarre, sometimes terrifying, or just plain weird landscape of our dreams. It definitely seems to shift as we age. But why? Well, the answer isn't random at all. It's actually like a map of our brain's development. We move from the absolutely fantastical dreams of childhood, for all those stressful scenarios of adulthood, and then into these really nostalgic journeys in our later years. This progression, it's not just a change in scenery. It really reflects a fundamental shift in how our brain is operating. So to really get a handle on this evolution, we need to look at the very building blocks of our thoughts and our dreams. And the key lies in a concept from the Brain Kinematics Model called memory fractals. Now, these fractals are basically the structured outputs of our brain's neural activity. But, a much simpler way to think of them is like memory Legos. Our brain uses all these different types to construct literally everything, from a simple thought to a super complex dream. First up, you've got sensory fractals. This is the raw stuff. The bright colors, that feeling of falling, the sound of a voice. They provide the vivid perceptual foundation of our entire dream world. Next are the episodic fractals. Think of this as your life's personal storybook, your own memories, all packed with emotion. Like your first day of school, or maybe a recent argument you had. That's the kind of content these fractals bring to your dreams. Then we've got the brain's rulebook, the semantic and algorithmic fractals. These are the logic engines. They're the part of you that knows Paris is in France, or how to tie your shoes, and all the steps to solve a problem. They're always trying to bring order and procedure to our thoughts. And finally, symbolic fractals. This is where the real magic happens. These fractals connect deep abstract meaning to simple images. They're the reason a snake in a dream isn't just a snake. It might represent fear, or transformation, or even betrayal. Okay, so here's the crucial point. These fractals don't just stay in their own neat little boxes. The boundaries between them are, cloudy. A perfect example of this is synesthesia. For most of us, seeing the number 4 just triggers, the idea of 4. But for a synesthete, that number fractal might actually leak into a sensory fractal, causing them to literally see the color red. This overlap is the key to everything in dreaming. So how do these fractals actually build our dreams at different ages? Let's start right at the beginning, in childhood, when the dream world is basically a sensory playground. Remember these? The dreams of childhood are just wild. They're filled with impossible creatures, magical powers, and these super intense sensations. So what in the world is going on in the brain? It's actually pretty simple. The young brain is running on pure sensory input and emotional memory. Those sensory and episodic fractals are in total overdrive. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, which is home to our logical, algorithmic fractals, is still under construction. There's basically no adult in the room to say, hey, animals don't talk. But then, of course, we grow up, and our dreams shift from a playground to something more like a reality rehearsal. Sound familiar? Yeah. The adult dreamscape is often built from the bricks of our daily anxieties. All of a sudden, we're back in school, totally unprepared for a final, or we're running to catch a flight we are just doomed to miss. And the reason for this shift is absolutely fascinating. By adulthood, our logical and algorithmic brain is fully developed, and it tries to impose order on the chaos of dreaming. So it takes that free-floating emotion, like stress, for example, and tries to fit it into a logical, procedural box, an exam, a deadline, a missed appointment. The symbols get totally constrained by our real-world pressures. But the journey doesn't end there. As we age, our dreams shift again, away from the daily stress, and towards something a lot more profound, mythic journeys into the mind's symbolic library. The dreams of the elderly are often just profound. They can feature reunions with loved ones who have passed away, incredible journeys through their own past, and even encounters with these powerful, universal symbols. And this just brilliantly illustrates the full circle of our brain's journey. Just like in childhood, that tight grip of the logical prefrontal cortex starts to loosen up. And this allows the deep, emotionally charged episodic fractals from a lifetime of memories and the powerful symbolic fractals to just surge forward. And the result? Dreams that are less about solving problems and way more about integrating a whole life's worth of meaning. So, Putting it all together, we can really see a clear map of how our inner world evolves over a lifetime. This table really summarizes our whole journey perfectly. In childhood, you've got dominant sensory and episodic fractals creating these vivid, fantastical dreams. Then, in adulthood, the logical, semantic, and algorithmic fractals take over, leading to those task-oriented, stressful dreams. And finally, in aging, there's a return to episodic and symbolic dominance, which creates those nostalgic, mythic dreams focused on integration. Ultimately, as the source material so eloquently puts it, our dreams show us how the brain is constantly negotiating between what we sense, what we know, and what it all means. And that negotiation, it just changes beautifully as we live our lives. So the next time you wake up from some bizarre dream, don't just dismiss it. It's a snapshot of your brain's current operating system. It's a map of your own mind, in this very moment. So what is your map telling you?